Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again and again.
There is a great disturbance in the Force.
I have felt it.
St. Patrick's Day cannot hold me back, ladies and gentlemen. It cannot stop me, even though it damn near tried. But we are here, we are live on MAGGCAST. We are here ready to party. Let's rock and roll. Let's go! Yes! Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of MAGGCAST. How's everybody doing out there? Everybody good? Everybody groovy? Everybody ready to rock and roll or what? Yes, let me tell you something, folks. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't even know how long I'm going to be able to hang on tonight, okay? See this? That's how I feel today. You see this guy right here? That guy. That's what I looked like this morning. Let me tell you something, folks. Hi, everybody in the chat. How's everybody doing? Yeah, good. Nice to see everybody. It's your first time here, 10 games. All right, let's rock and roll, buddy. Oh! Let's go! Welcome to the chat, buddy. How you doing? 10th games, Dub Mobile, Infernal Earth. Let me tell you something, folks. Like I was starting to say at the beginning of the show. 3 seconds ago. Last night, St. Patrick's Day started off normal. We were watching the World Baseball Classic. It was the United States versus Venezuela, right? Doing the thing, whatever. It ended up being a thrilling game at the end. And I got to tell you, man, after that, when we're like, all right, let's go out. So we decided to go out. And we hit this bar, all right? So we were already like pre-drinking at my cousin's condo in the city, right? And we go out to this bar, and it's like an Irish bar. Like, I mean an Irish bar. It wasn't just people celebrating St. Patrick's Day. It was like Irish people celebrating St. Patrick's Day. All the older dudes had beards and hats. And all the younger guys, all the younger Irish guys were all bald with tattoos and stuff. And then, like, even the guys smoking out front in the bar and stuff like that, right? They were all speaking in Irish accents. And I'm like, did we get transported to another place? The guys outside, they're like, oh, come on, you fucking you want to get inside, you can fucking play it. And I'm like sitting there going, oh my God, these guys are like real Irish. So anyways, we go inside. And of course, we're drinking Guinness. So I asked the bartender, I'm talking to the bartender for just a second, right? Because it's busy as hell in there. And I'm like, how many kegs of Guinness have you gone through? And he goes, I'm not even kidding, guys. I'm not even kidding. And this ain't a big bar. He had already tapped the 9th keg. 9 kegs in one day.
But the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding me? It was insane. Anyways, we had a couple pints there, whatever, had a good time. The band was hilarious. I mean, it was like one of those really real traditional Irish bands. So, like, there's a dude with a guitar, and then there's a guy with one of those Irish drums, and a boom, 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 boom. He's doing this thing or whatever. And the guy was singing, right? He's singing all these Irish. I didn't understand a single bloody word this guy was talking about. I didn't understand a single word that this guy was saying. He's up there, he's like, oh, what a fiddle, holding the heel of the vine, holding the fiddle, the kill of the night, holding the bottle, the steel, the bottle, the fiend, the funnel, the heel, and I'm sitting there going, what the fuck is going on right now? I mean, I know my wife is Irish and stuff, but she ain't that Irish, like, you know what I'm saying? So it was pretty funny, man. It was pretty funny. But, yeah, anyways. Hilarious night. Anyways, so we had a couple pints there, a couple drinks, whatever, no big deal. My cousin at this point is trashed, okay? He's the doctor. I'm sure you guys have seen him some of the other shows and other chats, whatever. So, anyways, we leave there, and then my brother says to me, my two brothers were with me, one of my brothers, my youngest brother, he goes, hey, you know there's a strip club up the road. You guys want to go check it out for a bit? Grab a couple drinks there, and then we'll go back to the doctor's place, right? The condo. So I'm like, all right, let's go check it out. So it's like right up the road. So we take like a 35-second Uber up the road because it was too bloody cold, right? We go to the strip club, and we're talking like this place is like mob. And I mean mob, like dudes like right in the front, like right when you walk in the doors, whatever. It was like old Italian guys in their late 60s, big stomachs, wearing suits and, you know, all that kind of stuff, right? And then the guy goes, hey, how you guys doing? And I'm like, hey, paisan, how are you? He goes, I got to pat you down for weapons. So, pats me down for weapons. And then he lets us in, right? So we go inside this place. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, right? There's nobody there. And I mean absolutely nobody there. The bouncer is eating pizza with one of the strippers in the corner. They ordered pizza, and they're like sitting on the bar talking, and they're eating pizza. And I'm looking around, and there's like 5 or 6 strippers, and they're all just kind of like sitting around, like on their, like, you know, playing on their phones and stuff like that. And the DJ's up doing his thing, and there's literally like a sea of empty chairs. Because I mean, it's a Tuesday night at 1 a.m. Like, who the hell's gonna be there? There was nobody there. It was insane. Anyways, we ended up hanging out with the bartender. We got a bunch of drinks there, whatever. Went back to my cousin's place, and then we start drinking again, like as if it wasn't enough, right? So, anyways, I'm like, now I'm like starting to tap out, right? And we get to the point where all of a sudden I'm like, all right, man, guys, I can't. Like, this is my last beer of the night, and I gotta go to bed, man, because I'm just done. And then my cousin goes, "What night?" And then he points to the clock in the kitchen. It was 5:05 a.m. Oh my God. We were still going till 5:05 in the morning, and I just was like, oh my God. So we all went to bed. My brother fell asleep in the other room, and of course, I filmed it. My cousin and I ran in the room, and we beat the shit out of him while he was trying to sleep. We were throwing like ice packs at him and stuff from the freezer. And then he's a kickboxer, right? My brother's a kickboxer. So my cousin got a roundhouse kick right to the chest, and then my brother Charlie horsed me in the leg so effing hard. I still am limping. So. I mean, you don't mess with you don't mess with kickboxers. What are you supposed to do? And especially one that's trying to sleep. So it was pretty funny. By the way, my brother's first fight is coming up in the summer. Official licensed fight. So he'll be Muay Thai. He's a Muay Thai fighter. So yeah, it's going to be pretty wild. But anyways, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about video games. I just wanted to catch you up on the nonsense from last night. And I got to tell you, man, when I got home today, I second guessed, third guessed, fourth guessed, fifth guessed my show tonight. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't even stand. I was walking around like the Emperor from Star Wars. I was just like,
a great disturbance.
You know what I mean?
Force.
I have felt it.
Right? And I'm like walking around with like these limp hands like this, and I'm like, you know, I'm just wandering around the house like a ghoul, like, and then of course it turned into, you know, and then I start doing like Emperor lines, right? It's like, it is you who are mistaken about a great many things. Yeah, it was a mess, man. But anyways, I pulled my shit together, and we're here and we're doing this. Now, before we get into our first topic tonight, we're going to have a fun one tonight, because we're going to be talking about the Crimson Desert situation. We have to talk about it. All right? Because the PC reviews came out today, and I got to tell you, man, from what I've seen, I'm starting to lean. I mean, I'm not saying, you know, because I know some people can get pissed off, but I'm starting to lean towards that. I don't know about this. Or I might wait for like a deep sale or something like that. But we'll get into that momentarily. But before we do any of that, we got some business to attend to, ladies and gentlemen, because we have this fabulous community already donating right now. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go, baby. And we got Kung Fu Hot Dog, a member for 1 month. Thank you so much, Kung Fu Hot Dog. And he says, hey, Mag, thanks for always cheering me up. Ciao. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate you. And like I said, you can hit me up anytime, brother. Thank you so much. That Fast Chevy's in the house. How you doing? And we're scrolling down. Oh, my Lord. My goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, this is unprecedented. Unbelievable.
Donation.
Just after I finished saying that I might not buy Crimson Desert, here comes Grumpy Old Fart, the man, the maniac, the legend himself. He comes in and drops $160 super chat. Holy shnikes. Wow. Jesus, Grumpy Old Fart comes back in style. My goodness. Woo. I gotta fan myself. And Grumpy Old Fart says right here, my God, this guy. Let me tell you something, folks. I want to tell you, and I don't want to embarrass Grumpy Old Fart, okay? But I'm going to say it anyway. This entire 2026, or sorry, the end of 25 into 26, every single game I have streamed on this channel for all of you, for all your enjoyment and everything else, is courtesy of the Grumpy Old Fart. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This man, this myth, this legend has literally donated every single game that we're seeing. And we're not done yet, because he also donated Lego Batman, Legacy of the Dark Knight, and he also donated 007, which we will be playing right here on this channel, and he even gave me a 1-month subscription, Ultimate Game Pass Ultimate subscription, so that we could be playing Forza Horizon 6 here on this channel as well. So thank him in the chat for all the content, and I'm thanking him obviously for all the content that he's providing for us and for me and for everybody else here, man. It's absolutely amazing.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
So Grumpy Old Fart says for 160 effing dollars, he says this super chat is dedicated to Mag's wife. Oh, all right, there it is. To Mag's wife. And he says, here's Crimson Desert for you, my lady. Also a toast. Thank you for believing in your husband. Oh, dude, you're going to make me cry. Thank you for believing in your husband. Thank you for supporting him. And thank you for buying that microphone and giving him that little push that he needed. Love you, Mag. Dude, we love you too. I love you too, brother. Absolutely amazing. Grumpy Old Fart, thank you so much. Incredible. And we've got D's coming in with $10. Let's go. And D for $10 US says, let's go. All right, well, I guess that means it's time to go. Let's go, man. We got to get into this tonight, folks. Good evening, everybody. I see everybody in the chat there. Darflog is saying, Grumpy Old Fart, what a boss, yeah. Josh Duckwall's in the house. Go check out No Quacks Given. It's a great little podcast, man. I love it. Ambidextrous, how you doing, buddy? Thought of doing platinum videos? No, I don't really do that many platinums. I got 52 this gen, which is amazing. But like honestly, for content, like content-wise, I don't get consistency out of it because there's some games that are just too effing hard. You know what I'm saying? There's just two games that are just there's too many games that are just so hard to get that platinum. So I don't think me doing platinum videos or even like 1,000 out of 1,000 achievements would be prudent, because the problem is at the end of the day, I just wouldn't have the consistency. You know what I'm saying? Because some games, like, you start it and you're like, oh, I'm gonna get the platinum on this, or I'm gonna get 1,000 achievements on this, or whatever, and then all of a sudden you start playing it, and after about 60 hours you're like, you know what, there is no chance I'm getting 1,000 achievements on this game or whatever. Like, for example, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I just started playing it because the PSSR 2 update came out, right? And so I'm like, let me go back and check it out. To get the platinum on that game, Ambidextrous, just to give you an idea, is like, it says, if you're streamlining it and you're really like pushing hard, it'll take you 150 to 200 hours to get the platinum. Yeah! Like, are you kidding me? I'm not doing that. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I can't do it. So, you know, I wouldn't be able to consistently do that, right? So, you know, it is what it's going to be. However, we're here to talk about things and stuff and stuff and things and things and stuff. So what we're going to do is we've got to do this whole Crimson Desert situation. We got to talk about it. We got to talk about the Crimson Desert situation, okay? Sorry, I'm making a timestamp here for everybody. You know, by the way, I'd just like to point it out that all the people who are requesting timestamps, which thank you, by the way, for doing that, because it never crossed my feeble mind to do that. And the thing is, ever since I've been doing the timestamps, you guys ready for this? This is wild. So on average, usually MAGGCAST gets between 1,000 to maybe 1.3 thousand views per episode, right? And since I've been doing the timestamps, I'm not even kidding. This is like, I don't know if it's connected. I don't know if it's like the reason why, but it is completely wild to me that now MAGGCAST, since I've been doing the timestamps, is over 2,000 plus views every single week now for the last couple of weeks, ever since I've been doing the timestamps. So it's either I'm gaining in popularity or I'm gaining more haters, or the timestamp thing seems to be working. I guess. You know, I'm the idiot.
What an idiot.
You know what I mean?
Oh, what a loser.
You know, so I don't know. So we're going to see that. Anyways. What's Magnum saying here? He goes, I'm going to get Crimson Desert. Well, listen, I have to get Crimson Desert now because Grumpy Old Fart bought it for the channel. We're doing it. So you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? Listen, tomorrow night, I'm doing a guest appearance on Crossfire after my disastrous situation a couple of weeks back where I had that anxiety attack in the middle of the show and I left the show. So Mooch hits me up today and he goes, hey, Mag, you want to come on Crossfire? And I'm like, you know what, dude? Absolutely. I said, I have to come back and I got to... I got to make up for that last show, man, because that last show was brutal. So I will be on Crossfire tomorrow. However, I may do a daytime stream tomorrow of Crimson Desert, because I think it drops tomorrow morning, right? So I think I might do that for a couple of hours. And then Friday Night Live, ladies and gentlemen, will be absolutely dedicated to Crimson Desert. We'll be doing all that. And funny enough, speaking of my wife, which Grumpy Old Fart bought it for, Grumpy Old Fart, yes, I did see your message. I will check my DMs after, my friend, and I will absolutely show it to her. Now, here's the thing: is my wife just got the platinum on Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora. Fantastic game if you haven't played it. I believe if you're an Xbox gamer, by the way, I believe it's on Game Pass. So go check that out, or you can buy it for fairly cheap if you want to. But I'm telling you, it's worth it. Ubisoft, listen, man, they don't know how to run a company, but their games are great. Their games are great, and they're gorgeous. And especially since they did that third-person mode, it's a brand new game. It's basically like Horizon Forbidden West, but just it's stunning. What a stunning game, and it's really, really good. So anyways, she just got the platinum on that game, and now she's about halfway through Resident Evil Village, because she won't play Resident Evil 7 and she won't play Requiem because they're too scary. So I told her, I said, listen, you want mid-grade? Go with Village, because Village can get scary, but I mean, it's still, a lot of it is like, just vampires and werewolves and stuff like that. Like, it's pretty tame compared to especially compared to 9, especially the things with Grace and of course Resident Evil 7, the whole goddamn game is terrifying from beginning to end, right? So there is that. So she's halfway through that. But you know what now? Now she has no choice, because Grumpy Old Fart is now purchased her Crimson Desert. So she'll be doing that. Now, as I game share with my wife, by default, this scumbag got Crimson Desert. So here we are, folks. We're going to be doing all of that. Brian J in the chat is saying the DLC for Avatar was really good. Dude, it was really good. Woodpit's saying the same thing. Yeah, no, dude. I bought it, and I actually streamed it on the channel, and it is fantastic. Fantastic. It is fantastic. The funny thing is, though, the very first mission, when I did my live stream, for 40 minutes, I'm wandering in circles going, guys, what the hell's going on? I don't know what to do. Nothing's... So there was a bug right on the very first mission where it didn't show the marker or whatever. So when you get there, you couldn't interact with anything. So I had to so it took me 40 minutes to figure out, maybe I'll reload the game. And then once I reload the game, then maybe it'll work. And lo and behold, it did. And then we played it on the channel. It's really good. So yeah. And we got Ray Martinez coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Ray Martinez. And he says, hey, Mag, where's the DLSS 5 wig? That's right, baby, the wig. Sexy Mag with long hair. Thank you so much, Ray Martinez. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the donation, my friend. Yes. Gorilla Tactics is saying RD7 is coming to Game Pass. Wow, I did not know that. However, do you guys want to get into this Crimson Desert review stuff? We got to get into it, man. I'm going to change that timestamp to 19 minutes because I took an extra 4 minutes to catch up on a bunch of stuff. Hey, man, it's what we do, right? So anyways, I'm going to play around with a couple of settings here. I want to see if this is going to work. Yeah, that'll work. So what we're going to do is we're going to shrink my fat ass, and we're going to move me over here. Look what we're doing here, folks. And then we're going to pull up the screen right here. Oh, there's a Cherokee hybrid commercial. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through some of this right now, all right? So we've got here. Can everybody see it okay? So that's what we're going to do. Now, listen, man, when you use Streamlabs and stuff, it's not as fancy as some of the other programs like StreamYard and all that kind of shit where when you do something, you could just literally click a button and it'll move windows for you and stuff. Streamlabs, you got to do it all manually, which is kind of funny. Unless there's something I don't know. So if there's somebody who knows something about Streamlabs where I can just auto-click a window capture and I could just be moved and all that kind of stuff. Until then, I have to manually do it. But either way, you guys can all see that now. We are now on the Metacritic site for Crimson Desert. And before we even start, Ray Martinez comes right back with a $5 super chat. Look at it. There we go. 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 Hey, Arch War Angel, and Dallas LeBeau are in the chat. How you guys doing out there? Dova, how are you? Mr. War! Crimson Desert looks like it's going to have a fantastic time with it. Well, you know what? We're going to find out. We're going to find out. PS Vet, how you doing? Okay, so right now it's currently sitting at a 78, as you can all see, okay? So we got these big ones. I'm just going to, listen, we're just going to go through some of these, okay? Some of the ones that the people I know. We got a 100 from GameLiner. Listen to this. Pearl Abyss delivers a dynamic and visually stunning open world that feels alive and full of discovery. There's plenty to do, and the game expects you to explore on your own with challenging puzzles. Fuck. Damn it. Challenging puzzles. Listen, man, when I'm streaming, I'm going to have Google right here, okay? Because I'm not dealing with it. I don't like puzzles. Memorable bosses and little hand-holding. The many systems and mechanics can take time to master, but are very rewarding, while the story takes a back seat, which I'm not all that broken up about, and is told through lore. Okay, so that's kind of like Elden Ring in a way. It is still a tale you don't want to miss. Strong performance and a great soundtrack round out this must-play experience. Unreal, eh? All right, let's see what's going on here. Gamer Heroes gives it 100. The Outer Haven, never heard of these guys. 100. Vice 100. Okay, let's go with Forbes. Okay, Forbes gave it a 95. He says, but if the question was if Crimson Desert could really be that big and really play that well and really keep you entertained the whole time, the answer for me is unequivocally yes. Okay, so that's from Forbes. Dual Shockers. Now, by the way, I'd also like to point out, everybody, that this is all PC reviews. Console reviews don't come out till tomorrow. Now, here's where I have a little bit of a concern. If this game is already sitting at a 78 Metacritic on PC, and you've got the consoles that presumably outside of the PlayStation 5 Pro are going to be performing not as good as the PC, then I would expect the scores to be a little lower. It could be like a 75, 76, but we don't know. We're going to have to wait and find out till tomorrow morning. They're going to tell us. Dual Shockers comes flying in with a 95. They say Crimson Desert combines all the phenomenal aspects of some of the most notable titles of the past decades. Interesting. It has the sense of discovery like Elden Ring. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm vibing. A deeply engaging and dense world like Skyrim. Unpredictable moment-to-moment gameplay like Red Dead Redemption 2. Excuse me. And the exciting exploration and overall feel of the latest Zelda games. Interesting. Okay. The Loops is saying it'll be 68 on console. Dude, that'll be devastating if it is. But we'll see. We're going to have to wait and see. Infinity Nerd, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, Call of Duty World War II is a fantastic game. I know some people shit on it, but I thought it was great. Oh, Magnum, you got to be a smartass, eh? Listen to Magnum. Yeah! Magnum right away goes, Mag, there's no yellow paint, so you're screwed. All right, I'll give him that. That's funny. I'll give him that. Hey, Sammy Basil, how you doing, buddy? He was saying he was expecting it to be in the high 70s. Fast Chevy, listen, man, we're going to do these, and then you know what we're going to do? We're going to scroll down to the lesser scores, and that's where we're going to see some more, you know. Gaming Trends says 95. They say this is a once-in-a-generation action RPG that redefines the genre, providing hundreds of hours, of incredibly varied gameplay that never stops giving you new things to do. There are a handful of bugs to hammer out, but don't let that dissuade you. You're looking at your likely RPG of the year, which is hilarious because Pearl Abyss has said it's not an RPG, which is even funnier. I swear to God, I thought this said Jesus Act. And I'm like, well, apparently, ladies and gentlemen, the Lord Jesus Christ is doing reviews on video games now. I guess he was bored of listening to our prayers. So... but it's called the Je Act 2. But when you looked at it quickly when I was scrolling, it looked like it said Jesus. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, apparently Jesus is doing that. Never heard of any of these guys. 90s, comicbook.com, I know them. They gave it a 90. What are we talking about here? Crimson Desert is a game built on impossible ambition, meticulously realized. Its UI frustrations and annoying inventory management are most certainly setbacks from true perfection. Now, I'm going to stop right there for a second. There's something I want to talk about when it comes to that. UI frustrations and annoying inventory management, those are things they can patch out. So I'll give them that. So like a lot of the complaints, which we're going to get into that a little bit later as we scroll further down, a lot of the complaints about the game can be hammered out with updates and stuff like that, right? So they can, if they, you know, they work hard at getting that stuff like ironed out, then you got a situation on your hands where you can be like, okay, they fixed X, Y, and Z. I even heard of another... I think it's a design choice, not a bug, but apparently, like, if you go to a village or something and you kill all the bad guys or whatever, and their bodies disappear, right? The problem with that is that apparently that, like, let's say there's 20 guys in a village, right? You go in there and you slaughter all 20 guys, whatever, and they disappear. You can't loot them anymore. Like, what? You can't loot them.
Ma, the meatloaf! Fuck!
You know what I mean? What is that all about?
What? Idiot! Oh!
Oh, what a loser!
Uh-oh. What'd I just do? Uh-oh. We got a situation on our hands here, folks. I just screwed something up, and now I don't know how to get rid of it. There we go. Oh, I just figured it out. I accidentally did full screen on the thing, and I screwed up everything. It's okay. We're back in business. Let's just make sure we're back in business. Yeah, we're back in business. Whew. For half a second there, I thought I just, like, derailed my entire show. Okay, so anyways, let's get back into this. Now into the 90s. Let's go down loot level chill. Like, I've never even heard of that. I don't even know what the hell that even means. Daddy chill. What does that even mean? Steam Deck HQ. These are all still in the 90s, right? So we're going to scroll further down. Scroll further down. Windows Central. Let's see what they're talking about. They gave it a 90. Crimson Desert is the kind of game that usually only comes along once in a generation. So singular in its ambition that it will define the gaming conversation for weeks, if not months to come. Despite granular misses, Pearl Abyss has showcased what gameplay freedom truly means. Wow, gave it a 90. I also saw that Dreamcast guy gave it a 9.5 out of 10 on his review, although he's not a Metacritic, but he did it on his channel, whatever. Now here's where it starts to get interesting. But before we do any of that, let's talk about Mr. El Nini coming in with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, El Nini. And for $10 US, the man says Crimson Desert PSSR 2.0 enhanced. Yes, it certainly is. And I will be taking advantage of that PSSR 2 right away. So I will be doing all that. So yes, thank you so much, El Nini. I appreciate you, brother. And thank you for being here, as always. Destructoid 85, IGN Brazil 85, and let's keep going down. Now, here we go. Now we're going to start talking Turkey, okay? Now we're in the 80s, okay? Let's go with Digital Spy here. Crimson Desert Sandbox Playground and beautifully crafted world do a lot of the heavy lifting to just about overshadowing its confusing elements. I heard a lot about that. Generic story and boring characters. What's here is an overwhelming amount of content and the bones of an amazing game that has to be respected for its ambitions. Okay. All right. That's one thing that I did hear about. That's something I wanted to actually point out here is this right here. Confusing elements. That's something that a lot of people have been talking about. So, yeah, there's a little bit of that where they're saying, like, even the Dreamcast guy in his review, he was like, I didn't even know until about halfway through the game that you can upgrade your character, and then you can, like, upgrade your health and, like, your weapon and all that kind of stuff, which they don't tell you. He just kind of stumbled on it by accident. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Ricardo, how you doing? Daniel McCarthy? Brian J., how you? Truth Serum, how's it going, buddy? Fuzzy Tomatoes in the house, nice and early. We got Neo in the house. Neo saying, "I'll watch you play because I'm on the fence about this game." Well, that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna play. We're gonna play a little bit tomorrow whenever it launches. I don't know what time it launches. I know someone in the chat said 6 p.m. Eastern, but that seems kind of crazy. That seems crazy to me. So they're gonna release it at 6 p.m. Eastern. Is that like true? Anyway, someone in the chat. Hey, Funky Playbox, how you doing, buddy? Listen, if someone in the chat can let me know, that'd be amazing. Let me know if that, in fact, is the case. And before we continue, we got Captain Chats coming in with a £4.99. That is proper British money, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Thank you, Captain Chats. I appreciate you, brother. And he says, still not sure if I'll play this, but if I do, I have a PS5 Pro and the PC 5080. Holy shit. He goes, which do I play it on? If PS5 can also, if PS5, I can also utilize the PS Portal. Well, then, you know what? I think you may have answered your own question. So I think that you should get it on the Pro, because if you want to utilize the PS Portal, then I think you've made a decision. But thank you so much, Captain Chats, for the £4.99, man. I appreciate you, brother. Okay, here it is. So Garflog is saying 6 p.m. Eastern. The fuck is that? 6 p.m. Eastern. Why? Guerrilla Tactics. I saw Matthews get taken out. That was pretty dirty, man. So 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. So I won't be able to play tomorrow because I'm going to be on the air at 7 p.m. on Mooch's channel. I mean, maybe I could do it, like, maybe later. Maybe, like, I mean, I'm going to do the show, like, I'll be on the show for about an hour and a half or so anyway. And I'm just going to, I can tell Mooch, I'm like, listen, man, 9 o'clock, I'm going live on my channel. So maybe we could do that. How about we do that, guys? James C. in the chat saying 3 p.m. Well, yeah, West Coast, that would make sense, right? So 6 p.m. because we're a 3-hour difference from the West Coast. West Coast! West Side! Anyways, sorry, I'm too hungover for that. Okay, so you know what we'll do then? 6 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so you know what I'll do is after Crossfire tomorrow night, what we can do is I'll send out the bat signal to everybody, and then y'all come back here, whoever wants to come back. I mean, not everybody has to come back, but whoever wants to come back and watch it, I'll go live 9 p.m. Eastern, and I'll start playing Crimson Desert from the start. All right, so we'll do that tomorrow, and then we will be doing it. We will be going, and then of course, Friday Night Live will be playing more of it. So we'll do all that. So yeah, and maybe you never know. I might start Friday Night Live a little earlier. We'll see how that all works out. But anyways, either way, we will do that at some point. So yeah, sounds good. All right, so let's get back into this. IGN France gives it an 80. Tech Radar 80. All right, so these are like the sort of the middle of the roads. Game Rant, that's a. Okay, let's see what they got to say. I like Game Rant. Crimson Desert will likely appeal most to players who enjoy getting lost in an incredibly detailed and realistic open world. That's very cool. I'm very excited about that. And figuring things out for themselves. Even when the game isn't always clear about how everything works, it's come up again. They're gonna have to fix that shit. So patches after Pearl Abyss, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are absolutely not listening to me, but you know, they're gonna have to listen to the community here, because every review, and that's what they're doing. They're listening to they're reading all the Metacritic reviews probably right now. Write that shit down and start making some things a little more streamlined. I think that's really important. Those who value exploration and long-form progression will find plenty to dig into, especially if they don't mind learning it all through a fair amount of trial and error. On the other hand, players who prefer a more streamlined experience, a stronger narrative focus, or systems that clearly communicate their rules may find the journey more frustrating than rewarding. Even though Crimson Desert initially seemed like a game for everyone, it's not, but it is one that everyone should at least try. Very interesting review. That's a very interesting review to me. So that's going to be something that we're going to have to see how that all works out. Now, the other thing is, too, like, for example, when I played Stellar Blade, sorry, guys, I may be coughing every once in a while. It's not because I'm sick or nothing. It's the hangover, okay? Because last night was a lot of drinking and a lot of screaming, okay? So I'm like, every time I talk for more than 5-6 minutes, I start phlegming up. It's hilarious. Well, hilarious for you, not very hilarious for me in this hideous hangover. That's the thing. Like Stellar Blade, for example, my game of 2024, they didn't really hold your hand either. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you had some quest points, like, okay, go over here and do this. But like all the other stuff, you had to sort of figure it out and discover on your own as you're running around this open world, the open worlds, like the different planets and stuff. And I did find it rewarding because, you know why I found it rewarding? Because the gameplay was so effing good that I didn't mind wandering about. You know what I'm saying? Out and about. I didn't mind going out and doing all that stuff because the combat, the movement, the graphics, everything, her ass, were all just top notch. And as a result of that, I didn't mind doing it. From what I'm understanding about this game is that indeed this open world and the combat especially apparently is supposed to be really, really good. That's where we're going to get all that enjoyment. Then I won't mind wandering around looking for stuff because the stuff you're doing to get from A to B or whatever you're trying to discover is going to be fun. That's the key. So that's really important. So sorry, that was something I was going to say. PC Gamer says an 80. Now we're going to get into the 70s after this one. He goes, vast and obtuse in a way. Or am I being obtuse? Name the movie. How about 30 Days in the Hole? Or am I being obtuse? Back to the review. PC Gamer says, vast and obtuse in a way that is going to frustrate some and exhilarate others. Crimson Desert is a fascinating journey even when the destination isn't all that. Okay, all right, interesting. All right, now we're getting to the meat and potatoes here, folks. This is where we're going to start seeing the holes in what's going on here, right? So, Checkpoint Gaming, I don't know who they are. Maris Station, never heard of them. Player 2, never heard of them. 75. Okay, we'll read one of the 75s. Let's go with Maris Station. Crimson Desert could be an amazing game in a hypothetical sequel, but right now fails in its own ambition despite its amazing sense of adventure. All right? Let's read another 75. Whilst it doesn't quite reach the heights of the greats, this is still a compelling experience that's more than worth your time. Come for the visuals, stay for the gripping combat. See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm hearing the graphics are great, and I'm hearing the combat is fantastic. So those are huge pluses that some of those minor things, like those minor issues or whatever, or the smaller issues, or even the quality of life issues, those quality of life issues can be ironed out. So that's it's important to remember that so that we can do that. Right? They can do that. They can iron that shit out. And then like in the next week or so, you know what I mean? Improve the experience. Because there's absolutely no way that Pearl Abyss is just going to walk away and be like, yeah, whatever. And just, no, they're going to read the reviews. They're going to read all that. And they're going to talk. You know what I mean? And they're going to, you know, do some patches, that kind of thing. You never know. They might even release a patch tomorrow. Who the hell knows? We'll see how this all works out. But they might need a little time for some of that stuff. Okay, now we're getting into the 70s, folks. I will be reading both of these. Game Informer 70. Crimson Desert is a beautiful, exploration-rich, open-world game. That's a mouthful right there. That's what she said. That's a clear technological achievement hampered by a cornucopia of little frustrations and a stark lack of narrative depth. Okay, I don't care about the narrative stuff. In open worlds like that, I really don't give a shit. Like when I played Horizon Forbidden West, I loved that game. I followed the story, but I really didn't care that much. And by the end of it, I got the platinum trophy on that game. And by the end of it, I was just sort of skipping all the conversations and stuff because I'm like, listen, man, I'm in an open world. I'm here to explore. I'm not here following a streamlined story. Like for example, like a Resident Evil, you want to know all the story. You're playing Chronos, you want to know all the story. You know what I'm saying? When I play 007 coming out later this year, I'm there for the story as well as the gameplay and whatever else, right? So it'll be interesting to see how this all works out. GameSpot 70 as well. They say Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert is a frequently thrilling game, elevated by an open world well worth exploring, once again, and hard-hitting combat. There it is again. Everybody's talking about it. Open world graphics combat that delights with its depth and emphasis on player expression. It might not always be the most cohesive game, mixing high fantasy with steampunk and sci-fi elements. That's pretty cool. But there's nothing else quite like it, and I can't help but be impressed by how little restraint Pearl Abyss has shown in its commitment to delightful absurdity. In some respects, Crimson Desert might not be too good to be true, but it's a world worth getting lost in. 70. Insider Gaming, that would be that scumbag, what's his name, Gaz. Insider Gaming, or Tom Henderson, he's not a scumbag. Only Gaz is a scumbag. So we got we got them giving us 70. Crimson Desert is a game of extremes. At its best, it offers a breathtaking world filled with meaningful exploration, impressive scale, and genuinely thrilling battles. Once again, all those talking points of all the positives are all the same. However, that brilliance is occasionally weighed down by an overabundance of unfocused systems. There you go. Here we are again, guys. Unfocused systems, weak narrative, which I don't care about, and combat that struggles to maintain consistency. Okay. Screen Rant 70. Okay, so we've gone through the 70s now. Now we're going to get to the 60s. All right, let's see what these guys are talking about. There's 165 in the mix here. Let's go with MGG 65. Crimson Desert's best moments come when you think about the game it could have been, were it not for its overabundance of clunky mechanics and its painfully sluggish controls. Riddled with glitches and systems that don't work. Wow. Pearl Abyss's first single-player game can rely on its sublime open world or its core management system borrowed from BDO, that would be Black Desert Online, for anybody who didn't know, to occasionally lift us out of our frustration. Okay, that's a 65. Now we're into the 60s. IGN Deutschland! Crimson Desert is an entertaining open-world action RPG that offers a unique gameplay experience and, thanks to its vast scale, keeps you occupied for a long time, but fails to truly impress in almost every respect. Holy shit. In this case, less would have been more. You know, I kind of agree with the less would be more kind of thing, because I really don't need, super over-bloated games. You know what I mean? You don't have to bloat the thing to death. You know? But I don't know, that's just me. Eurogamer 60, a vast world and even vaster array of MMO-like activities mixed with glittering fidelity in Crimson Desert, but what good is it without much character, texture, or charm? I don't really care about that. Not for a game like this. I care about character and all that kind of stuff when I'm playing a game that I'm actually there for the story, but when I get into open worlds, generally speaking, if you give me just an overview of what the game is about, I'm totally okay with that. You know what I mean? For an open world game like this, I don't need super in depth whatever. When I'm playing God of War, or if I'm playing Gears of War, or Halo or whatever. I want story. You know what I mean? I want to I want to see what's what Master Chief is doing. I want to see what Kratos is talking about. I listen to all those stories when they're in the boat. You know what I mean? Like in God of War, and I listen to all those stories because it just adds to the lore. Fantastic, right? Video Games 24/7 gives it a 60. As it stands unreleased, the best parts of Crimson Desert are buried deep under layers of absurdity. All right. Okay, now we get to some ugly ones. Let's get to some ugly ones before we move on from this entire topic here. We will still talk about Crimson Desert, though. 55, well played. Proving that looks aren't everything, Crimson Desert's stunning visuals and strong performances aren't enough to save it from being a disappointing experience. Jam-packed with content and systems that make it feel like a jack-of-all-features, master-of-none with an unenjoyable gameplay loop. Really, Crimson Desert is really just a single-player MMORPG in all but name. 55 seems kind of harsh, but whatever. That's what they're saying. Shack News, 50. Crimson Desert is an exercise in excess, and it is worse for it. If you believe more is always better and are so enraptured by World Big that you are willing to overlook substantial glaring flaws, and there are many, you'll love Crimson Desert. Perhaps well, that seems kind of insulting the way he said that. Perhaps the most damning thing I could say about Crimson Desert is that it's an enormous game with a ton of content, and I spent most of my time with it wishing I was doing anything else. Holy shit. That's pretty rough. All right, let's get to this one. 45. Listen to this one, folks. 45. Critical Hits. Never heard of them, but whatever. We're going to read it. Crimson Desert draws attention for its ambitious open-world adventure proposal, but the experience ultimately falls short of expectations. The game features a confusing narrative with uninteresting characters and missions that feel like generic MMO tasks. The combat has many mechanics but little depth, with artificial difficulty spikes and unresponsive controls. I did hear about the unresponsive controls from more than one person. Even with impressive graphics and a high degree of exploration freedom, issues with art direction, bugs, and design decisions make the game feel vast in content but shallow in quality. Once again, I want to point this out. Once again, when you look at something like that, what he just said here, bugs, design decisions, those can be fixed. Those can be patched. Those can be worked on, right? So we'll see how that all goes. And then as you scroll down, there's still more. There was still more in there, but I think that's pretty much it. But either way, that's what I'm seeing here. So we're at a 78, and when we get towards the bottom here, obviously we're not going to go through every single one. I just wanted to point out some of the highlights and some of the lowlights. But the thing that I find interesting about this entire situation is that you get some of the outlets giving it pure hundreds and in 95s and 90s and 80s, whatever, and then it goes from like hundreds and 90s and 80s all the way down to 45s. You know what I'm saying? And now there's a bunch that are to be determined. They haven't released them yet, and they will, I'm sure, over the next little while. But anyways, there's that. So let's turn the mag into a Big Mag all of a sudden. There we go. Big Mag has returned. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. So there it is. That's the entire situation with the with Crimson Desert. All right. So we'll see how this all works out at the end. And wait, listen, we're going to try it tomorrow night. So like I said, 9 p.m. Eastern right here on this channel, we will go ahead and we will play that game. And then we'll have to discover for ourselves. And for anybody on the fence, like I was saying, we got 127 people here, by the way. I'd just like to say thank you for all that. For anybody who listens to the show afterwards, feel free to come check out my channel tomorrow night, 9 p.m. We will play Crimson Desert. I'll advertise it, make sure everybody knows about it. I will do it, obviously, after I'm on Crossfire. So I'm going to be on Crossfire first. Then I'm going into Crimson Desert. So we'll do all that. And then we will play Crimson Desert again on Friday. So we will be doing all of that right here on the channel so we can get a good idea of what we're looking at. And if anybody's on the fence, watch me struggle through it and just be like, okay, you know what? This looks like something I'd like to play, or this is something I'd like to skip, right? So, I mean, you get that. And we got Grandpa Barbecue Game Cap coming up with 5 Australian didgeridoos. Thank you so much, Grandpa Barbecue Game Cap. He says, hey, Mag, towards your resupply of Baroka. Oh, thank you so much, my friend. I'm going to tell you, man, after last night, it was one of those days, like, when you have like one of those hangovers that are so bad that you start second guessing your life choices. That's what today was. I was like, I think I'm going to take a little time off from the sauce, man. I said, because honest to God, that like last night was ridiculous. And I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less on a St. Patrick's Day, right? But my God, like, it's just the level of ridiculousness that we reached last night. And we're all like in our late 40s and early 50s. Like, we're not like 20. And like to do all that kind of stuff, man, oh my God, it was, it was wild. But either way, and we got Emperor Hound has upgraded his membership. What? He's upgraded his membership to a MAGGCAST maggot. Thank you, Emperor Hound. I appreciate you, brother. And we've got Super Juan Escudero has become a magnificent maggot. Thank you so much for joining the channel. And listen, to anybody who joined the channel, I appreciate you guys. And here, check it out.
Welcome to hell, motherfucker!
That's right. Welcome to hell, new maggots. Y'all know the drill. Anybody who joins the channel. You guys have access now to the members-only Discord. I'm sure one of our mods will put a link in the chat. And yes, so you got access to our members-only Discord. You get emojis, of course, and you also get early access to all my cooking videos, which is coming out very soon. I couldn't pull it off this week, so I'm going to be doing it next week, and I'm doing it in honor of the St. Patrick's Day month, so to speak, and I will be doing that next week. So channel members, you guys get early access to all those cooking videos that I do. So yeah, man, it's fantastic. RPG, look out. Hey, and Super Juan is from Panama. Well, greetings, my friend from Canada. Thank you so much for being here, brother. I appreciate you. And you get a little bit of a beat there, too. There you go. Thank you, Super Juan. You're the best, man. I appreciate you. RPG's in the house. Funky Playbox. He says, I had a good St. Patrick's Day, but also suffering. Yeah, dude. Whew. It's rough. It's rough, man. It's rough. But hey, that's part of the game. It's part of the game. Super Juan, now that he's a channel member, I can see his name much clearer. He says, by the way, do you know what the issue with Crimson Desert install on Xbox? Lots of Xbox users can't download. I didn't hear anything about it. Well, the game, as we were discussing earlier, the game's not coming out till 6 p.m. tomorrow, but you should be able to preload the game now, so I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe they're going to wait till tomorrow. I have no idea what they're doing, Super Juan. But that's interesting. I'm going to look into it before I go to bed tonight. I'm going to take a look at it, see what's going on. Hey, Muhammad, how you doing, bud? So anyways, what do you guys think, man? Now that you guys got all those reviews, you saw everything, you saw the Metacritic. Now, that's for PC only. Now, the thing is, this is what I wanted to bring up. I think the bigger question here now is you've got the PC, which presumably, not all the users, but the people who reviewed it all had high-powered PCs. And it's still scoring in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? So if it's scoring in the 70s on the PC, and now you're about to go to consoles, which is going to perform significantly worse outside of the PS5 Pro, I'm really, really interested to see what those scores are going to be like. But, I mean, it doesn't affect the channel. Like, it doesn't affect us because we're going to be playing it. But I'm really curious to see what this is all about. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, but, at the end of the day, does it really matter? Magnum said it earlier. I said it earlier. Stellar Blade, game of 2024. Fantastic game. If you haven't played it, please go play it, for God's sake. You can play it on PC, and you can play it on the PlayStation. What a magnificent game. All right? So, what a magnificent game. My game of 2024, hands down. And then on top of that, one of my top 5 games of last generation was Days Gone for PlayStation 4. And Days Gone was like a 70, I think a 70 or 71 Metacritic or 60. I don't know what the hell it was. I loved that game. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, well, now they remastered it for the PS5 Pro, and it's got PSSR 2. Holy shit. So I'm going back, and I'm playing the remastered version, and I'm not carrying my trophies over. I'm going to get the Platinum trophy on it again. So I got 2 Platinums for one game. And I turned it on, and oh my God. It is possibly the most beautiful. Like, the graphics are ridiculous, and the performance and the lighting and everything else. And that's the PS5 remaster. But now I'm playing it on the Pro with the extra features on top of it. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, how this game didn't score, I mean, it sold well, but like how it didn't score even higher than that is beyond me. But it was riddled with bugs when it came out. So that is what governed a lot of those scores. Now, that is why I'm bringing that up about Crimson Desert. So if you look at a situation like Crimson Desert, are some of these things that, like these quality of life issues that they can clearly fix over time, preferably really fast if they want to sell well. I would do it in the first week if I were them. is that, and they'd better be working around the clock. That's what I'd be doing. I'd be like, Pearl Abyss, guess what, boys and girls? Crunch time. Don't care what you got, you know? You get paid overtime, but we're going to fix all this stuff and get it out the door, because the more sales, you know, the more copies we sell of this game, your bonuses get bigger. And on top of it, you're getting time and a half. So get to work. I would fix it in the next week or so, get those quality of life issues out there, you know, ironed out and all that kind of stuff, and then you got a better situation on your hands. I mean, that's just what I would do. And I'm sure they're going to do something along those lines. But they're fixable. Right? But the problem is the Metacritic scores are rated on the experience that they had as a reviewer, because they get an early copy of the game, right? So they're not going to get all those like day one patches. They're not going to get all that stuff. There's not like, you know, guides on Google that will, you know, teach you and say, hey, you know, if you want to do this, this, and that. Like, for example, I make a joke about it all the time. Even though I put 130 hours into Elden Ring and I loved it, I gave it the award for most Googled game of all time. Like, it was ridiculous. I didn't know what the hell was going on in that game. And they're like, oh, you've got to take the black egg and bring it to the girl and trade her for the white egg. And then she takes the black egg and then she sends it to another witch. And then she does like a spell with it. And then this, I'm like, how the fuck did you even know any of that? It doesn't tell you anything. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. So I would imagine that this game's going to have a lot of that. So now, on top of that, the reviewers didn't have access to anything, so it probably made the experience even more frustrating for them. I know I'm bringing him up again because I watched his review before the show. Is like, Dreamcast guy was saying the same thing. He's like, he goes, there were areas where I was literally running around for hours not knowing what to do. He goes, there were even fast travel points. He didn't even know were fast travel points because they never tell you. And he was just like running or riding a horse, you know what I mean, to get around the map and all that stuff, not realizing that there are fast travel points that you can unlock along the way and stuff like that. See, like, those are quality of life things they need to fix. And put them clear, nice, crystal clear on the map and saying, you know, fast. So when you put your cursor over it, it says, you know, fast travel point or whatever the hell, right? PSSR2 is amazing, dude. Yeah, Captain Chats, it's amazing. It's amazing. Hey, Kenta, how you doing? He goes, I thought it was getting review bombed because of Denuvo. I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about that. They were eyeballs, Truth Serum is saying. Yeah, I know. The Witcher 3 says hi. Yeah, but you know the thing with The Witcher 3, though, it still was pretty, like, it was pretty straightforward. You go to the map, you see, like, an icon, you go in there, you highlight it, it gives you a path, tells you where to go, you go do your thing, whether it's a fetch quest, and or whatever you're doing, or fighting a monster, or what, you know what I mean, like, or doing like a main mission or a side mission or side quest and all that kind of stuff. You knew what was going on. So, but if there's like mechanics in there, like for example fast travel that you didn't even know existed and they don't tell you, like, that's a little silly. You know what I'm saying? That's a little silly. So they're gonna have to fix all that shit. You know what another thing was? Hey Dova, how are you? The thing is, Breath of the Wild's another one. Like, I found myself lost in Breath of the Wild, you know, for a lot of it. I'm just like, where am I going? Like, what's happening right now? So there's a little bit of that, but you figure it out. You know, you figure it out. Hey, Goku, how you doing? So anyways, there you go. So what do you guys think, man? Let me know in the chat. What do you like now that you're hearing these reviews, at least on the PC part? Give me some numbers in the chat as to what you think this thing is going to score on the console side of things. That's what's going to be interesting. So I may do a poll of that a little bit, maybe on Twitter. I might do a poll, so I could make it much more detailed, and then we could talk about all that stuff. So we'll see how that all goes down. Yeah, or wait for a sale, like Brandon is saying. You know, you can do that too. What's up, Nick? I will check out his review after the show. Yes, I will do that. He was saying good review by Wolfheart FPS, great content creator as well. All right, I'll check him out. I will absolutely check him out. All right, let's see these numbers. Muhammad's saying 70. Loops is saying 68. Oh, you guys are savage tonight. Sammy Basil, 74.5. We got Dova with a 67. James C with a 75. Holy shit. Glinzer, 76. I'm thinking James C might actually be the closest one. I think James C might be the closest. I'm thinking mid-70s, so I'm thinking 75. Glinzer says 76, so pretty close. 68 to 75 based on the console is Emperor Hound, yeah. ACG, I did watch his review. He said wait for a sale, if I'm not mistaken. So anyways, a lot of drama. Goku saying 75 as well. I got to tell you something, though, folks. This is the wild thing about this. I have never seen a game with so much drama in my entire life. Santo, how you doing, buddy? He says 78. Dova saying 75 on the Pro, 67 on the Series S. Oh, that's funny. Magnum's got to be the smartass again. He says A+. You know, Magnum, I swear to God, man, I'm going to fly to Australia, and I'm going to drop kick you, get back on the plane, and come right back here on the show. I love Magnum. He's the best ball buster ever. Goku saying he's waiting for a sale. James C saying ACG said he loved it, but there's some bugs. Yes, and those things can be worked out, James C. That's another thing that I wanted to, that's the thing I wanted to discuss, and that's what I've been talking about. Hey, Furious Legacy, how you doing, buddy? Nice to see you. And so the thing is that when you look at that and you're like, well, they can iron that shit out. But now that these PC reviews are out, they better be working on that right now so that there's a day one patch ready to rock. At least they could fix some of the things. And then over the next week and into the weekend, I don't give a shit if it's weekend. You're working through it. All right? You can have time off after with your bonuses for selling a lot of copies. I think after it launches tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and into Monday, get to it. You know what I'm saying? Put your head down, get to it, start working on that shit so that by Monday or Tuesday, they get even more of that stuff ironed out. You know what I mean? And that's most likely the plan to begin with. That's usually what happens at, post-launch of a game. That's actually when the devs do the most work. I know it sounds crazy, but they don't do the most work, but they do a lot of work after launch because of that exact situation. You know what I mean? Neo's saying he's going to wait till I play it. Yeah, sure, man. Come by tomorrow night, man. Come by tomorrow night. Oh, it'll be getting a lot of patches, James C. Just like, for example, even though, what the hell is it called? Battlefield 6. Battlefield 6 came out, pretty flawless to me. But my God, those guys really, dude, when I get updates for Battlefield 6, it's like every 4 or 5 days or whatever the hell it is. And they have 9 updates. They're constantly working. And then, of course, they all got laid off. Not all of them, but a bunch of them got laid off on top of it, which is devastating, but it is what it is. El Nini was asking what time's at luck, and Garflog answers him, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, depending on where you live, El Nini. And we got Emperor Hound, a member of 3 months, comes flying, and he goes, hey, Mag, just remember Crimson Desert was set to be an MMO first. Yes, that is true. And then shifted to a single player later. Correct. So that's why a lot of people in those reviews were saying exactly that. It feels like an MMORPG, and this is big, but they changed it to a single player experience. And you know what? I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Captain Chats, I want to answer that question. He says in the chat here, he says, why can't they just fully cook the game then release it? Modern gaming. You're not wrong. However, here's the thing. You're wicked hot. How you doing, buddy? The thing is that when I think my personal opinion is that Pearl Abyss bit off more than they could chew with this game, just like they were saying, is that it was supposed to be, like Emperor Hound said, an MMORPG, and it was going to be massive, right? And then they turn into a single player game and you have all these mechanics already sort of implemented in the game. And then you get, now you're changing it to single player. Then it's going to feel overwhelming because now it's just one guy doing all this stuff, right? Or, not one guy, but one character doing all this stuff. Apparently there are multiple characters, but whatever. The point is that they bit off more than they could chew with the situation, right? And then when you do something like that, you don't have a focused product. So what I mean by that as well is that with a focused product, you're able to really put it through, put it through the ringer and be able to work out all the bugs and the kinks and all the, the quality of life stuff because you have a more focused experience. Open worlds, fine, but open worlds also have a very focused experience for the most part. But you're going to have to go in there. And when you're offering too much stuff, you can't keep track of everything. It's almost impossible. And that's what I'm trying to say. It's almost impossible to keep track of everything. How the hell can you keep track of all the different mechanics if you shoved everything in the kitchen sink in there? You know what I mean? Hey, Serve, how you doing? King Deuce, what's up? So 3 p.m. for you, El Nini, if you're on the West Coast, yeah. Well, we're going to find out, sir, tomorrow because Grandpa, my goodness, Grumpy Old Fart actually donated the game to the channel, and we are going to be playing it here tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Yeah. So we'll be playing it here. So, like, you know what? We're going to find out for ourselves, literally in real time, if this thing is any good. And we're going to find out tomorrow. And then, of course, we're going to do it again Friday for Friday Night Live. It'll be dedicated entirely to Crimson Desert. So we'll see how this all plays out. Once again, courtesy of the generosity of Grumpy Old Fart, who purchased the game for my wife, but, you know, because we game share, I kind of get it by default. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, anyways, I don't think I really could talk about anything more about Crimson Desert. What the hell else am I going to say? You know, like I saw Reforged today did his show. My God, the man was on the air for 10 hours today. I don't know how the hell he did that. He did a 10-hour show today in regards to... Oh, shit. Look what I just did. Whoops. He did a 10-hour show today talking about Crimson Desert. I mean, he talked about other stuff, too. But, I mean, to sit in a chair and talk for 10 hours... I mean, dude, I can talk. Okay? Everybody knows I can talk. I don't know how the hell he did that. That was insane. That was insane. Dova, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because I'm doing a guest spot on a show at 7 p.m. I'm going to be on Crossfire tomorrow for a bit, and then after hey, Deceiver, how you doing? I didn't even say hi to you yet. And then after Crossfire, I'm going to go directly to my channel. I'm doing a guest spot for Mooch, and then after my channel, then I'm going back to my channel, 9 p.m., and I'll be live on the air to launch Crimson Desert. Kenta, I know nothing about the new Xbox dashboard. Nothing. I don't know anything about it. All right, so we've been doing Captain Chat. We've been talking about Crimson Desert for an hour. I think we're done. All right, I think we're done. So what we're going to talk about now, we got to talk about this DLSS 5 situation. Now, we kind of talked about it on Monday on Colt Eastwood's channel when we did XNC. And... you know, we discussed, like, the ramifications of the situation and be like, okay, well, you know, some of the things look good. Like, I did a video about it the other day, and I talked about it in the video, and some of the implementations of this looked really, really good. Some of it did not look good. Like, when they showed Resident Evil Requiem, they showed, like, Leon looked great. And then you looked at Grace, and she looked like she had Botox put in. It looked like it looked like AI, right? It didn't look great. You know, some of the Hogwarts ones, you know, they made the young boy a little bit too old looking. That's not the end of the world. The old witch, that looked really good. The soccer one, hit and miss when they were showing, like, the FIFA soccer club, whatever the hell it's called, football club. And, you know, like, it seemed like it was inconsistent, and that was my issue with it. Now, the other thing is, I know a lot of people saying it's setting a precedent with AI and all that kind of shit, which you're not wrong, because, like I said before, and I said it on Monday, you give them an inch, they take a mile. You know? Don't worry, Magnum, we're not going to be talking about it for very long tonight. You know, give these companies an inch, they take a mile. That's how these guys operate. We all know that, right? We all know that. So I don't want them to set a precedent for any of that stuff either, right? So that's going to be a whole thing. But we shall see how that all plays out. Now, the other thing is I wanted to say about this DLSS 5 is that this is going to affect a very small amount of people, a very small percentage of people. So, for example, people with 5,000 series cards, right? Your 5080s, your 5090s, whatever, right? That kind of thing. Those are the people who are going to be able to utilize this. That's not a lot of people. Okay? I could tell you as a fact, statistically, most people that have PC, and that's the funny part. That's one thing that pisses me off about not all PC players, obviously. I know a ton of PC players who are wonderful people, but there are a bunch of assholes out there. Hey, just Dave, how you doing, buddy? There are a bunch of guys out there who are just totally out of control, and what they do is they grab the flag and they're running down the field with the flag, you know, or on the battlefield with it, saying, you know, we're the PC master race and this and that. Meanwhile, 70%, should I repeat that? 70% have a 3,000 card series or less. So I would imagine that a lot of people just want to, kind of feel part of a club or whatever. Everybody does that in one way or another. Xbox guys do it, PlayStation guys do it, Nintendo guys do it, PC people do it too. However, the funny thing is that you got closed systems like a PS5, PS5 Pro, an Xbox Series X or an S. You know what I mean? Like those are like, there's not a wide array of performance differences. I mean, there's small differences like, with a Series S and a Series X and then a PS5. Now, the PS5 Pro is a significant leap because of the PSSR2 really helped it along. That's a but still, the point is it's not as vast as the PC market is, right? And so you get a lot of guys who got like I said, 70% have a 3,000 card or lower. Okay? So that means 30% have a 4,000 series and above. I would bet you anything that out of that 30%, I bet you 20 to 22% have a 4,000 series card, right? That means that the people that are actually going to be affected by DLSS is probably about anywhere between 5 and 8%, maybe 10 at absolute most. And I don't even believe that. I don't even believe that there's 10% out there. Okay, this is just a simple breakdown of, my simple breakdown of math. It's not like, to the T. It's not exact. But either way, the point is that there are very few people that are actually going to be affected by the situation. Now, the thing is that with people not having access to it, still feel that there is this precedent that's being settled, that's being set with the entire AI situation, which a lot of people are pushing back on, right? So that is an entire thing. And I think that that's really, to me, I think that that's what's making this entire situation happen. I think that's why it's, being blown out of proportion. Now, the crazy thing is, I don't know if you guys heard about this, that Digital Foundry, and trust me, I'm no stranger to it. It's happened to me too when I talked about Project Latitude. Fuck you guys. Not you guys. Fuck those people. Sending me death threats when I was telling them death threats. Can you imagine, from Xbox players saying that I won't tell you what they said, but either way, sending death threats because I said that games from that Microsoft was going third party with Project Latitude, and I talked about it in, I think it was December 2023 when I openly talked about it, but I had heard about it in the fall of 23, and then I said it the first time I think I said it on XNC was in December 23, or very, very latest January 24. So, I'm no stranger to that. And I'm sure there's all kinds of content creators who get all kinds of hateful messages and horrible things that people say to them. There was some guy, I remember the one time I was, it was about actually Project Latitude, and some guy in the chat in XNC, I never forget it, and I banned the guy, fucking asshole. And what he said in the chat when we were talking about Project Latitude, and this was like I said, like almost 2 years ago now, we were talking about it. Some guy in the chat is like, "Oh, Colt, I hope you and your family all die in a car crash." I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with people? Can you imagine? Hey, NT Wrong, how you doing, buddy? Hey, J-Man, how are you? It's okay, you can go back and watch it. Fuzzy Tomato, I'm not even sure if I said hi to you yet. You know what I mean? Like they said that on the, Colt was talking and I was reading the chat because the chat's in front of me here and I got a monitor here and I see the chat rolling, and then we were talking about that specific topic and someone said that in the chat, and guys, that's tame compared to the private messages that I get or he gets or whatever. It's awful. So now, the reason why I brought that up, I didn't bring that up for me. I brought that up because of Digital Found. See, Magnum wants to send me love threats. There we go. Thank you, Magnum. I appreciate that. Hey, I'm not talking just Xbox. Xbox guys, okay? Sony guys do that shit too. And Nintendo guys are just fucking weird. Okay, I'm sorry. Someone told me, said you need to cover more Nintendo stuff. You get more viewers. I'm like, yeah, but a lot of those guys are like furries and stuff. I don't. I'm just kidding. Relax. But anyways, the reason why I brought up this whole situation is not because of me. I'm bringing it up is because Digital Foundry got death threats over the last couple days because of their coverage of DLSS 5. Can you imagine? Let me ask you guys. Yeah, Unhinged Fanatics. Yeah, hey, Dented Iron, how you doing, buddy? Jay Slayer, what's up? Jay Silver? Hey, the OA! Hey, oh! I'm just busting balls about the Nintendo thing. I got a Switch too, okay? I play Switch. I'm just busting balls. I just like to make fun of them, that's all. They're getting death threats over DLSS 5 and their coverage of it. Now, let me see. Where is it over here? I saw it. Oh, it's J-Slayer. He says, Digital Foundry got bullied and changed their opinion. Really? I wouldn't change my opinion. Fuck that. My opinion is my opinion. I'm not changing for nobody. I may adjust it over time. I can adjust an opinion just like everybody else. You can adjust your opinion over time with more experience, right? Or more knowledge. Like if you gain more knowledge about something, like I can have an immediate opinion on something and saying, okay, what I think about this game is X, Y, and Z. But then all of a sudden I start playing the game, or I start talking to friends, I start talking to people in the community and whatever. And all of a sudden I'm learning more and more, or I'm watching like the devs do a talk about a video game or whatever, and I will learn more about it. My opinions of the game will evolve, right? But to flat out change it, now I don't know if that's actually like, hey, King Scotto, how you doing? If they did change that, Deceiver, I'm only kidding. He goes, what do you got against furries? I'm just busting balls, man. That's what I do.
Yeah!
I do not have a Steam Deck. I do not have a Steam Deck, Jay Silver. No. Cybergunter's in the house. How you doing, buddy? So they're getting death threats over DLSS 5 and their coverage of it and whatever. And I'm like sitting there going, are we for real? Is this what we're doing now? Is this what's happening in the world? People are so, wound up in this whole thing. And it's not healthy. It's not healthy. And I think the bigger thing is that people need to disconnect hobbies from their realities. Like for example, like video game is it's my job. Okay, I do this and I love it. I don't treat it like a job. It's my passion, and that's why I decided to do this. Do this. I decided to open my channel and everything else because I wanted to get not only my word out there. It's not even really about that. That sounds very self-serving. The whole purpose of this was also to build a community, right? That we have a voice, and a voice that with like-minded people that we could talk about things, and even people like not like-minded. They could, people can come here all the time and disagree with everything I say, and you're totally welcome here. No one's gonna bother you. No one's gonna bully you. You know what I mean? And that's a great thing. So that's why I did all this. It's a passion of mine or whatever. However, there are some people out there that get so, tightly wound up into this world that they're not able to disconnect it from reality. I know it sounds kind of weird, but that's what I'm trying to say. So that when something happens, or like, let's say you purchase something and maybe I critique it. Maybe I could critique the Xbox, or I critique the base PS5, whatever. Okay, just fill in the blank of whatever console or hardware or video game itself, software. And people want to justify those purchases. That's fine. I get all that. But to be at the point where you're so brazen to say horrible things to people, it's out. Thank you. One Away Dragons in the house. There it is. One Away Dragon, you got a special little Usher song for you, buddy. How you doing, man? Everybody say hi to One Away Dragon. By the way, if you're following him before, you're gonna have to go find him again because he had to reopen his account. So go check him out. Go check out my boy 108. That's Lemon in the house. Terry Taylor, how you doing? So the thing is at the end of the day, Neil Gushwa, how are you, buddy? The thing is that if you're doing this over DLSS 5, something that I would imagine that some of these people are not even going to be able to utilize because they do not have the hardware to do so, it's pretty sick, man. It's pretty sick. Like, you know what I mean? And the thing is, at the same time, it's an option. It's an option that you do not have to utilize. It's not being forced on anybody. Now, there is the part of it where people do talk about it and say, well, the part that I'm worried about is that it's an option for now, but are they going to start forcing it into other games? I don't think that that's the case. It'll still be an option. You know what I mean? What's up, DJ Marshman? How you doing, buddy? So, you know what I mean? Let people do what they're going to do. Let them enjoy what they're going to enjoy, whatever else. And and some people come after me for other reasons. Another one is because of now, I've told you guys the story a million times, right? My money's my money, okay? And the way I spend it is the way I'm going to spend it. And if I want to be prudent with my money, which I am, I already told you guys before, I live in a house full of ponies. They're all over the place. There's ponies everywhere. There's hooves all over this house. All right, everybody's got a PlayStation 5 in this house, except for me. I got a PlayStation 5 Pro, but I also got 2 Xboxes down here, right? And so I'm the only one with Xboxes in the house. And therefore, when I, game share with my wife, whatever, I buy all my third party on PlayStation now. Now, the other reason why the PSSR 2 came out and now all the games are going to be playing and looking better, whatever, I will be getting them on the Pro anyway. But for all intents and purposes, when I buy all the third party games or whatever, they're all going to be, and even all the Xbox games, I'm buying, except for Forza Horizon 6, which I'll be playing on Xbox, all the other Xbox games coming out this year, I'm buying on the Pro so that my wife can play them too, right? I have people coming after me about that, and I'm like, are you sick? Like, is there something wrong with you? Like it gets to the point where I don't understand where the mentality is. And so, I approached it from a business point of view. How about this? So hey, Ben Angela, how are you, buddy? Mag lives in a stable. I am in a stable. Ponies everywhere. Stomping their hooves everywhere. So anyways, I approached it from a business point of view. And I said to him, okay, hear me out. If you're Asha, okay? If you're Asha Sharma, or even when it was Phil Spencer or Sarah Bond, okay? And I buy Gears of War E-Day, Fable, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, okay? All on PlayStation at full price. Do you think that Usher gives a shit? You know what I mean? You think she gives? You think she cares? That's money in their pocket, right? They don't care. So why would you care where I buy it? As long as I am supplying money towards the ecosystem, it's helping the ecosystem, right? That's great for PlayStation. They get 30% of my money. It's even better for Xbox. They take 70% of my money. And you know what? You know what happens by that 70%? Every dollar, I've talked about this last week. Every dollar of that goes into keeping the lights on. Every dollar of that funds your next Gears of War game. Every dollar of that keeps the lights on, at Coalition or whatever. You know what I mean? Or Playground or whatever team it is. All that money goes into funding them. So where does it matter where it comes from? Whether you're on Game Pass, whether you buy them on Xbox, whether you're on PC Game Pass, or whether you buy them on Steam or whatever, or I buy them on PlayStation. What's the difference? It's money in their pocket that's going to keep the Xbox system alive and the ecosystem healthy and making money. And as a fan of Xbox, isn't that what you want? Don't you want that? So it really doesn't matter. Getting back to the Digital Foundry thing, I think it's absolutely insane that people are doing that. Like death threats about DLSS 5. And it's, like I said, most likely going to be utilized from 5 to 8% of the gaming, of the PC population that have a 5,000 series card. You know what I mean? What are we talking about? Colt Eastwood, who's a huge gamer, games primarily on PC, right? He doesn't even have a 5,000 series card. I don't have one. I don't game on PC at all. But, the closest I'll get to gaming on PC, I've been starting to come around. The price is going to be a situation, but I'm starting to come around on this whole Project Helix situation. Because I don't want to get into the Steam machine, because the Steam machine will just be Steam. I mean, we don't have to talk about this, but you guys understand what I'm talking about. You got Xbox and presumably, they haven't officially said anything, but presumably Steam would be on there. That would be a reason why I would buy it, so that I still have my Xbox stuff going on. And then, of course, I'd have the Steam stuff. I'd love that in my living room. I know my daughter would love that because she watches all those YouTubers. You know those YouTubers that play like those random-ass like PC games that like you can't find anywhere else or whatever? And she watches like those videos on like the kids' YouTube channels and shit like that. And they play all these games, and she loves that shit, right? And so I'm like, all right. She'd be able to do that with a Helix. And she's all excited. She goes, oh, I would really want that. I'm like, yeah, me too. I just don't want to be paying 2,000 Canadian dollars for this thing. But you know what I mean? But I'm starting to come around on it. Because if it offers that other storefront or whatever, I'm able to access. Another one, like she plays Poppy Playtime. Okay, you know Poppy Playtime? Y'all have kids? You know, hey, 78 Ink, how you doing, buddy? That's my boy. Y'all know what Poppy Playtime is if you have kids? Okay, they released the 5th chapter of the new Poppy Playtime game. Looks great, by the way, actually. I was watching my daughter watch someone else play it on PC. And we can't access it because it's not coming out for PlayStation until June. Right? But if I had a Project Helix with access to Steam, well, she'd be playing Poppy Playtime right now in the living room with my Helix. You know what I mean? So that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. So, like, I'm starting to come around on the whole Helix thing, as long as Steam integration is in there, as well as my Xbox. They didn't say anything yet. They just said PC and Xbox, you know, sort of intertwined, like your double Helix, right? They did not say Steam. We presume that it's going to be Steam. We haven't seen Santa Claus from Valve come out and talk about it yet, right? He hadn't come out and say anything. So we don't know. And we're going to have to wait and see. And we got Colt Eats Wood, comes flying in, a member for 2 months, funniest name ever. He goes, Mag, what's up? He says, Mag, what's up? Finishing RE4 Remake before Requiem. RE4 looks so good. It absolutely is good. I got the platinum on that, and I also got the 1,000 out of 1,000 on Xbox on that game. But I usually do that. McLovin, how you doing, buddy? What's going on in that chat? 108 has a 4080 Super. There you go. Anyway, there's not really much to say else about this. Hey, Negan, how are you? Oh, Rog Ally confirms it. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, anyways, I'm coming around on the whole thing. I don't know how this topic went from DLSS in there. I just wanted to just sort of like recap the DLSS thing just quickly and then talk about the Digital Foundry thing and then talk about how people have some serious issues. But anyways, that's a whole other situation for another time. However, we have to get into one of the things that happened this week, folks. Oh, by the way, a little side note before I get into the next topic here. A little side note for anybody who missed XNC on Monday with Colt and I just wanted to point out, yes, Colt Eats Wood says, everybody hit that like button. Help a brother out, man. Help me out. I think I'm like 10 or 11 subs away from 3,500 subs, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, just like to let you know. So I'm like 10 or 11 subs away from 3,500. That's a nice round number. I'd love to be there with that one. And we got Seth Monsters comes flying in with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Seth Monsters. Amazing, buddy. He goes, hey there, Mag, I'm back for more. But some maggots that grab this better have a powerful PC. Good luck, maggots. Oh, he dropped the code in the chat. It's alarm time. Let's go. There's a code in the chat. Someone grab it. Seth Monsters dropped the code. Let's know. What is it? Let's find out what the game is. I don't even know what the game is. I'm all excited to find out. I want to see who got it in the chat. Thank you so much, Seth Monsters, for all that, buddy. I really appreciate you, brother. That's amazing. That is amazing. Okay. Hey, Seek, how you doing, buddy? Okay, we got to know what game it is. So whoever gets the code, whoever punched in the code, first of all, say thank you in the chat, obviously to Seth Monsters, not to me. I had nothing to do with it. Seth Monsters is just a gangster. That's just the way he rolls. And then, whatever game it is, please tell me what game it is, because I would love to see it. And let's find out if Seth Monsters is just trolling. Maybe it's like a really bad game, and he's just being hilarious. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out right now. We're going to find out. But anyways, as I was saying, anybody who didn't watch XNC on Monday, I dropped a little bit of interesting news on the Lego front. So if anybody didn't catch that, I will let you guys know right now. Holy shit. Ladies and gentlemen, that code that was dropped by the one and only Seth Monsters was indeed a code for Crimson Desert. Wow. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. You got a Crimson Desert code in the chat dropped by Seth Monsters. Dude, that is insanely generous. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Jay Silver said it's Crimson Desert. I didn't get it. Okay, so whoever got it, let me know. Let me know. Thank you, Seth Monsters. I want to see who won. Cold Eats Wood, did you actually get it? Hey, poor Flavor Flav, how's it going? Magnum, it's a code for Concord. Oh, man. The Deceiver comes in and drops £2 super chat. That's British proper money, ladies and gentlemen. And he says, Pony's crying because Barbie game is on Game Pass, though. It is? Deceiver, you can't... First of all, thank you for the £2 super chat, brother. I appreciate you. And you need to let me know in the chat. You don't have to send me another super chat. Just send it in the regular chat. I need to know if Barbie if Barbie game is on Game Pass. Because if it is, I'm gonna go in there tomorrow and I'm gonna get the 1,000 achievement points. You bet your ass. All right. So, anyways, before I get into the next topic, I'm gonna be talking about the Lego thing for just a minute. I want to know from in the chat. Funky Playbox, son of a bitch, he got it. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Funky Playbox got the Crimson Desert code. Oh my God. He says in the chat, Funky Playbox says, I got it. Woohoo. Thank you. Let's go. Thank you so much, Seth Monsters. That was an exciting little episode there in the middle of the podcast that I wasn't expecting. It's wonderful. Seth Monsters brings the energy. Thank you, brother. Wow. Outstanding. Oh, and by the way, Deceiver, tell me if Barbie is in Game Pass, because I'll tell you right now. Or someone tell me if it's Game Pass, because if it is, I'll get the 1,000 before lunch tomorrow. Oh, he must have been super fast. Hey, Daniel McCarthy, I'm not even sure I've said hi to you yet. Okay, so anybody who didn't watch XNC on Monday, I got a little bit of news for you guys. The little bit of, hey, Infernal Earth, did I even say hi to you? Well, I'm saying hi to you now. Here's the thing. So I got some word from some people that work at Traveler's Tales. And Traveler's Tales, if anybody who doesn't know, make the fantastic Lego games. So if you're a big fan of the Lego games, you'll be really happy to hear about this stuff. So not only do they have Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, which is coming out. By the way, they moved it up by 1 week. I'm so happy about that. It's coming out May 22nd. Very excited to play that. And yes, once again, that game was donated to the channel by Grumpy Old Fart, and we will be playing Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight right here, day one on launch day. So excited to be playing that game. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Now, I got word on their next two projects, and they're going to be substantial ones. And I'm like, yes. So the two new games that they are working on, folks, they are working on a Lego in the style of the Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight with like that semi-open world kind of thing or whatever. They're working on a Marvel Universe game that's coming up. I don't know which one is next. I know they're working on two. I don't know which one's going to release first. We'll have to see. The first one they're working on is a Marvel Universe game, ladies and gentlemen. So it's going to take place all over. So now the thing is, from what he was telling me, is that you could be at like the Avengers Tower, whatever. And there's like a whole open world area there, whatever. Then you can go fly over to like, that big floating head, whatever the hell it was called, from Guardians of the Galaxy. You can go out to outer space and all that kind of shit. So you could do all that too. I'm going to find it right here, actually. Sorry. I don't want to Where the hell is he saying it? He goes, the whole saga, but also open world and open space, but much more condensed than the size it would actually need to be. He says you can fly from Avengers Tower to Nova City, that's cool, and to the Guardians' Celestial Head, and then back down to Latveria. Latveria is where Doctor Doom is from. So that's very cool. So that's one of the projects they're working on right now. So, so I'm excited for that. So Lego fans rejoice. We're going to be getting a new Marvel Universe game. And not only that, they're also working on, this is the big one for me, man, because I'm so excited. They are working on a new semi-open world in the style of, not exactly, but in the style of Hogwarts Legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, Traveler's Tales is making a new Lego Harry Potter game.
But the cream to the top, oh yeah.
Yes. Oh, Nowhere. That's the name of the place. Literal Table. Thank you. And by the way, hello. Welcome to the show, my friend. J-Man Games. Did I say hi to you? So yes. So they are making an open world-ish, whatever, Lego Marvel game, and they're also making an open world Lego Harry Potter game. Those are the next two on the list. Now, that's going to take them several years. So probably that's probably gonna keep them occupied for the next 4 or 5 years, I would imagine, between those two projects, because they got Lego Batman coming out now, and within the next 5 years, we'll probably see those two titles. You know, maybe every couple of years they release one, and then a couple of years later they release the other. So we will see. But either way, I'm so excited to be there. Little Table, I know you've been over an hour, but I don't think I said hi to you. Is what I'm trying to say. So I'm not really sure. And Harry Potter fans rejoice, because as Furious Legacy points out in the chat, not only are we getting a new Lego Harry Potter game, we're also going to be getting Hogwarts Legacy fucking 2. Let's go! I can't wait to play that game. Sorry, I got really excited, man. I'm so happy. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, man. And then on top of it, we got the HBO show coming out. Dude, I'm in Harry Potter heaven right now. This is like the best timeline for the mag. Okay, this is like the best timeline. Just enjoying the hell out of it. So, anyways, I'm all excited about that stuff. Really, really good. But anyways, that was just a little side note I'd like to point out. It really wasn't a topic or anything like that. So it was just something that I, came across. Well, I didn't come across. The information was brought to me and told to me. So I was like, oh, that's really exciting. So, yeah. Anyhow, let's talk about the other news that started this week. And that would be something that I had been saying for 2+ years. And that would be Starfield. Not only getting all those fixes and all that kind of jazz or whatever else, it's also going to have the PS5 release. Now, before we get into all of that, just give me 2 seconds. I'm going to go run and grab myself another glass of water, go to the bathroom real quick, and we'll come back and we'll talk about Starfield, all right? So everybody, hang on to your pants. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Everybody, don't get all excited. Don't go anywhere. Hey, Noisy Mofo, how you doing, buddy? Noisy Mofo, you missed a lot, dude. You missed almost an hour and 40 minutes. Now a word from our sponsors. Do you have hemorrhoids? Well, buy MAGGCAST. Oh, no, that's gonna sound really gross. Okay, so let's talk about Starfield. So before we start talking about the PS5 thing, let's talk about what Starfield's got coming up for the Xbox and PC players as well. So they had the game for now a couple of years now. It came out it'll be 3 years this September, right? So 2.5 years now. There's the new update that's coming out. There's 2 updates. There's the one called Free Lanes. So if anybody doesn't know what the Free Lanes update is, that's the expanded number of encounters that you're going to be doing, points of interest, new dungeons, new resources, new upgrades to weapons, ship modules. There's also going to be a new Moon Jumper land vehicle, new pets, new crew member, and the ability to bring a limited number of items to New Game Plus. Those are all the quality of life features they're doing. They're also saying that you're also going to be able to travel planet to planet within the solar system without having any other issues. That's going to be another thing. And on top of that, there's a new story DLC called Terran Armada. Okay, so there's a lot of work going into this. And that free lane, what is it called? Free Lanes? That Free Lanes thing, they're basically talking about it as it's going to be the Starfield 2.0, as people have already dubbed it, right? So there is all that. We're going to get into the nuances of this entire situation. Mohammed, I'm going to address that because there's a lot of people out there pretty pissed. But anyways, we'll get into that in just a moment. However, that being said, on top of that announcement, going for the PlayStation, for the Xbox and PC guys, folks, whatever, and Game Pass subscribers, it was also announced at the same time, which we had known for a couple of months now that they were going to announce it on March 17th. I didn't think it was really worthy of making a video because everybody kind of already knew that there was going to be an announcement on March 17th. They were going to talk about it. Some people were under NDA. I was not, but some people leaked out that information weeks ago. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to make a video about it because it's going to sound like old news for anybody who keeps it. Even if you keep up with IGN, they talked about it, right? So, you know what I mean? So anyways, then they announced it for PlayStation same day. Now, here's where people get a little pissed about it, okay? So they're a little pissed about it because the game is only $50 as opposed to 70, and for that $50 you're getting all those features. Now, the thing is, if you want the premium edition, you could pay $70, which is the base price of the game. And now someone pointed it out. Now, I'm not sure. Someone in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But my understanding is that on the Xbox store, it was still selling for $70 for the base game if you were to buy it. But meanwhile, on the PlayStation, you can get the premium edition for $70. So there's that, you know what I mean? And then the base game itself is $50. Now, the thing is, if you don't have like the premium edition or whatever, and you want this new Terran Armada update, it's going to cost you an extra $10, which is not a lot of money. I mean, for a DLC expansion, that's actually pretty good for price. You know? So there's all that. So yeah, so some people are a little pissed about that. They're like, you know, why is it this seems to be a recurring theme where I know as a fact because I speak to some of them and I see social media, I see it all the time, where I think a lot of Xbox fans are like, you know, we've had this game for like 2 years and had to like, you know, deal with bugs and issues and quality of life things or whatever, and then you release it for the PlayStation for cheaper and they get all those quality of life features day one. And it's playing better, well, I mean, at least on the Pro, in the console space, not in the PC space, right? So there's a little bit of that. Hey, K-Rock, what's going on? Oh, they changed the price. Okay, thank you, K-Rock. I appreciate that. Thank you, K-Rock. So they changed the price already. So what did they change it to, though? Did they lower it? But anyways, the point is, let me know in the chat, K-Rock. I'm very interested. The thing is, at the end of the day, a lot of Xbox players are sitting there going, you know, we feel not neglected, but it almost feels like they seem to like put more effort into these PlayStation ports than what the Xbox players get. They get a game that's not performing well at launch or whatever, and it takes time for all these updates and all this other shit. And then all of a sudden, you know, as some people say, they're like, oh, you know, the Xbox and PC players are basically beta testing all the games to go to PlayStation, and then PlayStation gets like the complete editions, you know what I mean, with DLC and all these other quality of life updates. And it's not just Starfield. That's the thing. If it was just Starfield, you could say, okay, it's a one-off, but it's not. It's multiple games. And so then all of a sudden PlayStation gets the better version of it, the better playing version of it. They get all the DLC thrown in, like a Game of the Year edition, like those Game of the Year editions after all the DLC comes out, that kind of shit. And like, they're getting pissed off. And so when Usher comes in and does her thing, I can tell you this right now, Usher, if you're listening out there, and I know you're not listening to me, you ain't listening to me, is that you're going to have a situation on your hands where if you said you're going to focus on Xbox, or at least the console and everything else, and you want to focus on the Xbox community, that is one thing you're going to have to address. Otherwise, you're going to keep getting this thing over and over again where there's going to be a disdain within the community, which is not cool because you don't want to piss, you know what I mean? Like there's this disdain in the community between the Xbox and PlayStation players, that'll always be a thing. But I mean, you're just adding more to it by doing that. Take care if you're going to do the listen, if you're delaying any games or whatever, you got games going over to PlayStation, whatever, make sure you take care of your Xbox fans first, Usher, before you start porting stuff over there, because now you're just going to get people pissed off again. And then the story just keeps happening over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
You see what I'm saying? Thank you, CJ. Exactly what CJ said.
Welcome to hell.
But anyways, as someone who has a PlayStation, kind of thinking about it. You know what I mean? I'm not really 100% sure, but I'm kind of thinking about it. I'm like, listen, I didn't enjoy, like, I got the premium edition of Starfield when it came out. I didn't play it on Game Pass, and I did not like it. I did not like it, and it didn't look good. It didn't play well. It was like the NPCs looked horrible. Funny enough, actually, that DLSS 5 thing when they show with Starfield, actually, now that I can talk about it in retrospect, is that the DLSS 5 on Starfield looked the best. Why?
Get in there and fight, maggot!
Because Starfield did not look good. It looked like a 360 game. You go to see some of those NPCs with those fucking eyes, like, ugh. You know what I mean? And I'm like going, what year is this, man? Like, what is going on here? You know? And anyway, the DLSS 5 on Starfield, I'm like, that's what it needed. If there was a game that needed it, it was that one. Anyways, I didn't really enjoy the game. I played about 5-6 hours of it, and I'm like, I'm just not. It's just not clicking. But I might give it another shot. You know what I mean? I already own it on Xbox, so I mean, I won't buy it for PlayStation, but I'll go back on the Xbox and play it with these quality of life features and stuff like that. See if it improves the experience. I don't know. I'm not really sure. But either way. Yeah, see, Furious is saying the same thing in the chat. He goes, Mag, yes, 100%. The same thing is bound to repeat with Forza Horizon 6 as it'll come to the PS5 Pro a few months later. Yeah, so, I mean, now the thing is with Forza Horizon, though, those games come out pretty fucking polished. Like, there's very few issues with that. Hey, Bobby, how you doing, buddy? LePedro's in the house? Sorry, I didn't see you guys. Just saying this. Hey, Chichi, how you doing? There you go. 10 games just two-shade me right there. He says the same thing happens like Death Stranding. It was complete when it came to Xbox. Okay, yeah, fair. Fair point. Chichi says the character eyes still look weird with DLSS 5. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Getting back to what I was saying there. Forza Horizon, generally speaking, I think 99.9% of the time, they come out pretty polished. So there's really no issues there. So like with the PlayStation version of the game, you're going to get a boost from the PSSR 2 for the PlayStation 5 Pro, but I would imagine the base PS5 version of Forza Horizon 6 is going to play exactly the same as it does on the Xbox 360. I almost said it. Fire me off my show. Of the Xbox Series X version of the game, right? So I would imagine that will be the case. Now, I don't think that DLC for Forza Horizon 6 is going to launch within the first 6 months. I think it'll be a little bit later than that. I think that they'll probably drop their first expansion for it in, like, let's say January 27. I have no knowledge of this. I'm just spitballing here. But if I were to spitball, or you gave me say, hey Mag, what do you think? I would think that they'll probably drop their first expansion in January. That being the case, PlayStation will not get any advantage there because you'll have to buy the game full price, first of all, in the fall. And then when the expansion comes out, if you didn't buy the premium edition, you'll have to pay extra for that because it'll be coming out for both systems, presumably around at the same time, right? So I think that there's no advantage there. So I don't think in this case Sony's going to have, getting the only better experience they're going to be getting is on the PS5 Pro because of the PSSR 2. That's it. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen with that one. But either way, Starfield, I mean, the game came out 2.5 years ago. Well, see, think about this. Forza Horizon 5 came out for the PlayStation. Sold 5 million copies, by the way. That's insane. So it did really well on the PlayStation as well. But it got everything because the game had already been out for 4 years, right? So it got all the DLC, got everything thrown in there. Everything but the kitchen sink was thrown in there. And it played a little bit better as they updated over time, whatever, right? Performance and all that jazz. So that's fine. Now, I don't think that would be the case with with Forza Horizon 6 because, like I said, it'll presumably come within 6 months of it because they did say fall of 2026. I don't expect the first expansion to drop until 27. So again, I think that'll be coming to both systems day one. So PlayStation will not be getting any like free DLC where the Xbox players or PC players had to pay for that up front. Or if you bought the premium edition, then you'll get it, right? So there's that. Yeah. But anyways, the Starfield thing, the game had been out for 2 years, right? So all that DLC and all those quality of life things, sure, PlayStation's going to get those now. However, the Xbox guys and the PC guys are getting it as well. But the downside to that is if they played back in September 6, 2023 when the game first launched, well, you had to suffer through a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, it wasn't like egregious. Like it wasn't like a huge. I mean, some of the stuff like the some of the choices were pretty bad. The loading screens, click on this and then you got a loading screen to to get in the ship, a loading screen to launch in outer space, a loading screen into space, a loading screen to land in the next place, a loading screen to get out of the ship. Like Jesus Christ, like what are we talking about here? That's like a console game from 2002.
Welcome to hell.
You know what I mean? So like that's not the kind of thing you want. So they fixed all that now, so PlayStation players will never have to deal with that shit. However, if anybody skipped it, if anybody skipped the game on Xbox or PC and let's say you're getting into it now, well, now would be the perfect time to jump into it, April 7th, right? So, either way, and I'd also like to point out that I talked about this 2 effing years ago. 2 effing years ago, I talked about when I spoke to someone, an executive at Microsoft, saying that the game was going to be coming out for the PlayStation. It was currently being worked on behind closed doors. And my God, the amount of shit that people were talking for years. And you know what the funny thing is? All those people, and I remember who they are. I know their names. I didn't forget who they are. The best part about that is, ever since they announced that, they disappeared. I haven't seen them post anything on Twitter. I haven't seen them on YouTube. I haven't seen them in comment sections. They just fucked right off exactly where they belong, back in their holes. Because they do the same shit every time. Now, I'm not asking you to believe everything that I say. I am not an insider, never claimed to be. I just drink and I know things. And I talk to very, very powerful people within the industry who tell me all kinds of cool stuff. And you know what? Not all of it comes out. Not all of it comes to fruition. Not all of it comes out exactly the way I'm being told because that's not how the world works. Business plans change. Ideas change. Hardware changes. Software changes. Release dates change. Business strategies change. It happens every single day. So the thing is, when I do say something, I don't expect everybody to just be like 100% on board and say, yep, what Mag says is 100% going to happen or whatever. That's not the reality. But when I do say things, y'all should listen. And it may not be exact, but it gives you a ballpark of what's going on. It's pretty cool. I'm getting some word about PlayStation, by the way, in terms of their console price. But we'll talk about that right before we end the show tonight. But before we get into that last topic, let's go. We got the Broke Boy. He's coming in, a member for 6 months. Thank you so much, Broke Boy. Thank you so much for all your support of the channel, brother. And he says, hello, all you gorgeous people. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much, Broke Boy. You're awesome, man. And listen, man, all those DM pictures you show me from all those conventions and stuff are amazing, bro. Keep sending them along, man. I absolutely love that stuff. So thank you so much, Broke Boy. I appreciate you. And we've got the man, the myth, the legend himself, the man who gave away a copy of Crimson Desert right here live on the show. Seth Monsters himself, the member for 6 months, says, thank you so much, Seth Monsters. He says, because you can't get enough of me. No, we can't get enough of you, brother. You are awesome. Thank you so much, brother. QMax, how you doing, buddy? I did see the new Spider-Man trailer. It looks dope. It looks really good. Really good. LePedro says, I just pre-ordered the $70 version of Starfield Double Dipping. Had it on PC. All right, there you go. There you go. Cyberguns knock it off. MagStation Pro. Oh my goodness. All right. One last thing we're going to talk about before we end the show tonight. It's not like the news is light, but I mean, you know, there's all kinds of stuff going on or whatever, but there's short topics, you know what I mean? It's not like something I can sort of, you know, talk about like information and extrapolate more information from it and talk about it for hours on end. It doesn't seem to be one of those news weeks, you know? We got a lot of stuff going on, but a lot of the stuff going on this week, like I said, we've already discussed on the show, but the other thing is that a lot of the stuff going on, we're going to have to see for ourselves, because the biggest news of the week, of course, is Crimson Desert. So, how to remedy that? Well, we will be live tomorrow night at 9 p.m. and we will be live Friday night at 8:30 p.m. playing Crimson Desert, so we can all see for ourselves what all the hullabaloo is all about. So, you know, it's going to be pretty wild, man. Spider-Man was filmed here in Glasgow. Dope. I know some of it was filmed in New York, obviously. Hey, David Merrifield, how you doing, buddy? I know some of it was filmed in New York because there were people on set and stuff, but that's pretty cool. They went to Glasgow as well. That's awesome. So anyways, I'm hearing news, as we talked about, this will be our last topic of the evening, folks. We're going to talk about the PlayStation and Project Helix prices, right? All right, Dovo, we'll see you tomorrow night, buddy. We're going to talk about some of these prices. And I haven't got any updates ever since the last update that I got, which was like a month ago, which was the original projections. This is what Phil, by the way, and Phil and Sarah Bond were still in charge before Usher came in and did her thing. So, you know. But before that, we had heard internal projections that they said they projected they're going to sell less than 10 million units of the Helix, which makes sense considering the price range. They're also going to be continuing to focus on accessibility outside of the hardware space, because they are well aware that they're A, not subsidizing it, and B, not a lot of people can afford a premium product, which is fair. But they will still be supporting the series consoles and accessibility through cloud and other things like that, right? So that's all going to be still a thing for them. But now the internal price that was projected a month ago while Phil and Sarah were still there were $1,200 to $1,500 US for the Helix. I don't think, like when I first heard that, I'm like, okay, that's a little insane. But I have a feeling, my gut tells me that they're going to target between $1,000 and $1,200. I don't think that $1,500 is realistic for anybody. I think that they'll target between $1,000 and $1,200. The new rumors out there is that the Steam Machine, which is going to be significantly weaker than the Helix, is going to be priced around $800. Again, these are all just industry guesses, not mine. But this is what's kind of, you know, making its way out there. Now, here's the interesting one, and we touched upon this on Monday on XNC briefly, but I wanted to get into it a little bit. I don't know if Daredevil's going to be in the new Spider-Man, brother. I know that Punisher's in it. Hey, Z-Birdman, how you doing, buddy? Punisher and Savage Hulk are in it. That I know for sure. Seth Mon's saying $9.99. Yeah, that's what I'm sort of leaning towards for the Helix. I'm assuming you're talking about the Helix. I'm still thinking, like, when I was first told, like I said, when Phil and Sarah were still there, 12 to 15, I don't think that that's any, like I said, this is just my personal opinion. I think that's no longer the case. I think it's going to be between $1,000 and $1,200. They're going to keep it towards like the ROG Xbox Ally X price. You know what I mean? So somewhere around there. I would guess around 1,000. But anyways, yeah. So the thing is, the story that keeps cropping up is that Sony has no intention of charging anywhere near that amount of money for the PlayStation 6. Now, the thing is, I've thought about it. I've heard it more than once. But now here's the crazy thing. Now I've heard it from 3 separate people that work in the industry. Not 1, not 2. And just now, I just heard a 3rd person in the industry saying, quote, the PS6 will cost what the PS5 costs, not the Pro. The Pro is not designed for that scale. Okay, that's the 3rd person who said the same thing to me. So I don't know if everybody's getting their information from the same people and that those 3 people are telling people, or they're all hearing it from different people inside the industry. I said on Monday, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I just can't see a world. He might be listening to me right now, which is fine. How you doing, bud? Thank you for that Lego information. I really enjoyed it. It was great. I said there, in my mind, I said there was no world that a PS5, that a PS6 would cost anything less than a PS5 Pro, because I figured that would be the new standard. You know what I mean? Like, that would be the new standard for pricing or whatever else, and then, you know, subsidized for. Now this is the third effing person. Hey, Golden Souk, how you doing? This is the third person that has said that it's not going to be priced more than $600. 3. So it's wild. Grandpa Barbecue saying, I keep getting the feeling Steam Machine isn't going to come out, but the VR headset will. I mean, it's a... dude, I really don't know. I'm just going to shut up. I don't know what's going to happen with that thing, man. It's wild. Jay Silver, I'm thinking that. $649 sounds about right. Now, the thing is, I can understand that now Digital Foundry said it's not going to be as powerful as the Helix, but it's going to be very comparable. They said the difference between them is going to not be very substantial. But if they charge significantly less for this product, I mean, there's no doubt that they'll dominate next generation in terms of numbers and, of course, you know, what they, you know, their metrics and all that kind of stuff. Whatever. That's what they're going to continue to do. That's what Sony does, right? And Nintendo. They dominate the industry in terms of, you know. But anyways, the thing is, though, when you think about that, I just can't see how they could subsidize it that much. You know what I mean? Like, I could see $250 off the top. They could subsidize around $250 because they have the player base to subsidize. See, that's the other thing. Is people say, well, why can't Xbox subsidize? Because they only have 30 million people with console hardware right now. And I explained this on XNC. How it works is that when they subsidize a product, what they do is they take a small percentage of software and services from the current and previous generation, and they take that and they make up the money there, and then they start, you know what I mean? And so all the subsidization of those new consoles, that money comes back to them over time. It doesn't happen overnight. It might take a year, might take 6 months, might take 2 years, whatever it takes. They get all that money back, and then they just start rolling in it. I think Colt said within the first year, if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember the exact number, but he said within the first year, the PlayStation was starting to make money on their consoles because after subsidizing, they had already made their profit. They had already made that loss back, and then they were able to, you know what I mean? They were able to start making money off it. I mean, but their goal is not really to make money off of the hardware. Their goal is to get people in the ecosystem so your eyeballs are on the stores. Now, the thing is with Xbox, the reason why they're not going to subsidize it is because they can't. Because there are not enough people in the ecosystem there, or, you know, paying for the services and software, that they're able to skim 1 or 2% off the top in order to pay back that subsidy. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you guys following me here? I'm sure you guys are following me. So that's a thing. Now, again, I can't see how something that's comparable, but not quite as powerful as the Helix, but comparable to the Helix, costing around $1,000, and then, or maybe even $900, whatever, and then they would subsidize a couple of $100 off of that, like let's say $250 off the top, because don't forget, PS5 generation, they subsidized $100 off the console. That was also 6 years ago. The prices of that hardware now is literally double. So $200 is not out of the realm of possibility, on top of the fact that we've had monstrous inflation from 2020 to 26. So $250 is not that far off either. They could even go as high as $300, considering how much things, how expensive things are now. Like I said, combination of inflation and, of course, inflated prices because of AI with all the hardware and everything else. They could probably subsidize $300. But even then, let's just say that for argument's sake, I cannot see them subsidizing $400 or $500. I could see absolute maximum $300, and even that's a stretch for me. So for me, I can't see them charging anything less than $700. That's just me. $699, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? No, the casual players won't care, J-Man. You're not wrong. NT Wrong, how you doing? He goes, what do you think the PS5 will go for in a marketplace when the PS6 hits? They always retain their worth. Like, I mean, I can go right now, you know, on Facebook Marketplace. You can still get a PS5 for like, you know, $400, $500 on like Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji, stuff like that. You can still get it, right? So, you know, there's that. But anyways. Golden Suka saying, I'm sure Xbox could do what they wanted to. Game Pass made $1 billion profit. If they only plan to sell 10 million consoles, that is chump change. Yeah, you're not wrong in that respect. So now the thing is, though, now here's the thing. The only reason why they would subsidize a product is if they planned on selling a lot more. You know what I'm saying? So if they plan on selling, like, if you're getting a very powerful boutique niche product that a select percentage of people are going to buy, they're not going to subsidize it. But if they were going for mass market, let's say, like they did with the Xbox One, the 360, with the Series X and S, those were intended to be mass market products. Then they subsidize because they're trying to get them out the door. I don't think that that's no longer the case. Their focus is not on, I don't think their focus is on that anymore. I think they want to appease the fan base that is already there and whatever else, and they're going to be able to access all their, you know, their old games and their libraries and the this and the that, and stay in the ecosystem with their friends and everything else, right? So that's another reason why, but I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. We're gonna see how this all plays out, man. LePedro saying $650 with the disc. Discless and $700 with the disc. Yeah, that's probable. But listen, we don't know, guys. It's going to be a very long time. And I can tell you this. In a year from now, we still won't know the price. You know that, right? We all know that. They don't announce the price until pre-orders go live. And pre-orders go live generally within 90 days of the release window of the hardware. Whether it's a month, whether it's 6 weeks, whether it's 2 months, it's usually within a 90-day window of the release market. Of the release target, right? And so therefore, even a year from now, which will be March of 2027, we still won't know the price of these goddamn things. Because a year from now, I'll still be yapping here on the show, we'll be talking about it, and we'll still be speculating about this shit. However, we'll probably get a much more clearer idea as more insiders. You know, I'm going to start finding out what's going on during the meetings and all that kind of stuff and the proposed prices. Like I said, right now, our projected prices, that's what we've heard, just projected prices from their executives. But then a year from now, they're going to start putting down, you know, solid numbers, and that's when we're going to start hearing more information. However, that being the case doesn't mean we're not going to know. Like, let's say, for example, as my understanding is that Sony is targeting August of 2027 for the console. I think that August is a little early. I think September would make more sense, but let's just say for argument's sake, between August and September. Okay, if that's the case, we won't hear what the price for this damn thing is until June of 2027. Right? When they do their commercial, they do the launch trailers, they're saying launching on whatever, August 28th or September 14th or whatever the hell it is. Pre-order now, or pre-orders go live today at whatever, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, blah, 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 blah. And then the prices will be there, just like they did every other generation. Right? So we won't know until June of next year. So like literally a year from now, we still won't have a solid, I mean, we will have a better idea, but we still won't have a solid answer until the summer. Xbox, same thing. If they plan on releasing somewhere around, let's just say November, which I believe they're targeting, is November of 2027, we're not going to hear the price of the damn thing until September. Presumably after the PS6 launches. If that all falls in line with what we've heard so far. Thus far, I should say. So that being the case, we won't even know what the Helix is going to cost until September of 2027. Right? QMax says, I just realized I was watching the show, not live. That's all good, dude. He's saying, are you hiding that poster because it is cheeks? What poster? Oh, my Mafia 3? No, I love that poster. That's like a movie poster I got with the special edition of the game. I love that game. It's not great, but like I love the music, I love the characters, the story was good. The bugs were friggin' egregious, but like, what are you supposed to do, right? I love that game. I love Mafia 3. But anyways, no, that's a full-size movie poster. Like, you know the movie posters that you see like in the movie theater, like the big ones? It doesn't look that big from here because you're seeing it, you know, from a distant camera, but when you come in and actually see it, it's a full-size movie poster. It's dope, man. Deceiver says Microsoft needs to just make Xbox 2 cheap, more power, most powerful before PS6, like 360 days. Yeah, that's what I would do. But that doesn't seem to be their plan, and it doesn't seem to be a plan that they're changing. So, you know, there's multiple reasons for it. Some people are saying, why are they doing this? Why don't they just make like a 360-style console, cheap, affordable, powerful, whatever? Or not, you know, not cheap, but like more affordable, that kind of thing. And I think the reason why is because I've said it for many years now. I said it for at least 3 years now. Microsoft wants you off of the consoles. I believe it, and that's why I think that they're just sort of easing you into like that PC access space. They want you off. They don't want to make dedicated hardware anymore. And what I mean by dedicated hardware, I mean closed dedicated hardware, like a Series X or a Series S. You know what I mean? They want you on, like I said, this Helix is going to be a bridge to that PC. And that's what they wanted. That's what I think what they've always wanted. They're just doing it awfully slow so that it doesn't upset people. You know what I mean? It's like putting pillows down before you push somebody off the cliff. Just kind of ease them into it. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it, and I've been saying that for a long time. Neil says you should somehow have an arcade night. One of these shows, I am gonna have all the arcade games fired up. Hey, Iron Balls, how you doing, buddy? Nice seeing you. Iron Balls in the chat. There it is. So anyways, I don't think that that's the business model anymore. The business model, I think, is what it is. Xbox Bridge. Yeah, Pico Trek. How you doing, buddy? Pico Trek, Xbox Bridge, a bridge to PC. Absolutely. And I don't think that Usher is going to be changing that business strategy at all. You know what I mean? Yeah, but anyways, well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's the show for you tonight. That is the show for you tonight, folks. That's all I have for you. That's a lot of information. We did like 5 subjects. It was amazing. We did like 5 subjects. We did 5 topics tonight. We covered a lot of material. We got a lot of wonderful super chats tonight, and of course members coming in, new members, old members renewing. It's been absolutely amazing. Of course, the super chats were coming in. It was absolutely incredible. Thank you guys all so much for all the donations. It's amazing. And of course, remember once again, I'd like to thank Seth Monsters for donating a copy of Crimson Desert in the chat tonight. Absolutely amazing. And of course, Grumpy Old Fart for donating Crimson Desert right here to this channel. So you guys get to watch Crimson Desert tomorrow and Friday. There it is. Okay, folks, so anyways, we're going to wrap the show up, but I just wanted to say, once again, thank you guys all for being here, and hit that like button, help me out, and if you're watching after the fact, hit the like and hype it up. It helps me out immensely. So either way, listen, we'll see you guys tomorrow night. I'm going to be on Crossfire from 7 to 9, probably 7 to 8:45, and then 9 p.m. right here on this channel, we will be playing Crimson Desert. All right, thank you, Neil. I'm glad you got to come here live, buddy. And just for you, you get one of these.
Welcome to hell, motherfucker!
All right, Neil, that's for you. And you know what? You unlocked a rare achievement. There you go, buddy. There you go. 100 achievement points for catching the mag live. So yes, I will see you guys all tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on this channel. We will be playing Crimson Desert live on launch night, and then we will be playing it again on Friday. And if any news drops between now and like, let's say tomorrow, Friday, I will be releasing videos as well. So anyways, thank you guys all so much for being here. Time to get some much-needed rest after last night's insane shenanigans. And don't worry, I'll be putting in timestamps right after the show. So everybody, have yourself a great night. Stay magnificent, and we'll see you tomorrow night, 9 p.m. right here for Crimson Desert. Bye now.